Alright, mailbag episode. Let's get right into it. No names on the questions to protect the question askers, and because some people actually asked the same question. If yours didn't make it, don't feel bad, because I'm maybe going to answer a few more in this week's intermission column, so keep an eye out for that. And here we go. Are you actually evil? Could be. What is a genre film? That's a good question. Technically, every type of film is a genre, but it's usually only applied to horror, science fiction, or fantasy. This is basically a term of art left over from the publishing industry, where books that were seen as being lower-end stuff made chiefly to satisfy specific genre formula requirements for specific genre fans were called genre material to differentiate them from quote-unquote serious works that were aiming for something higher than meeting preset expectations. Do you enjoy cups of tea, and if so, what kinds? Oolong. Gotta be oolong. I was wondering how Aquaman overthrew Submariner. Aquaman was on Super Friends and had his own cartoon for a while. That's pretty much it. Why is it when you're a kid you think your skin color is peach? Funny story. The light-colored Crayola crayon that pretty much everyone knows is there to be used as the skin color for drawings of white people was actually called Flesh up until the mid-1960s, when someone pointed out that that was kinda racist. Why they settled on Peach as a replacement name, I don't actually know. What do you think it would take for a Momorpega to have more subscribers than WoW? If you could legally make money by playing it. Whoever figures that out will own the future. Is a modern-day, relevant, and ultimately successful Superman movie possible? We'll find out next year. Fingers crossed. Zack Snyder has the director's chair, so if nothing else, it's almost certainly going to look spectacular. What prequels, sequels, adaptations have received the most undeserved hate from fans? Ang Lee's version of the Hulk. Yes, I like the other one too, but still. How do you feel about the various Robins as a whole for the Bat family? Batman needs a Robin, the way Sherlock Holmes needs a Watson, and the failure of many modern versions of the franchise to realize and/or deal with this is why I still don't think there's been a truly faithful, iconic version of Batman in a feature film yet. Are there any potential Comics Are Weird bits that you think may be too weird for the big picture? I'm probably not going to do Lost Girls anytime soon, so that'd be one. How do you feel about digital media slowly but surely taking over physical media? I'm cautiously optimistic, so long as it'll be possible for me to back up copies of my stuff under my own watch apart from the cloud. What's your opinion on the current waves of activism that seem to be sweeping the internet? Well, it's nice that people want to help out, and it's nicer that people want to use the streamlined nature of digital communications to make that more immediately possible. But the fallout from, say, the Coney 2012 debacle has demonstrated rather excellently that the internet also makes it easy for people to use activism and charity as a mask for duplicitous and shady dealings. The web is a great tool for raising awareness, but anything beyond that you should regard with an extra helping of extreme skepticism. I would like an episode about why American movies have been so harsh about France these late years. Well, more broadly, it's just cultural leftovers. When the US had its big industrial age flood of European and Asian immigrants, for whatever reason France didn't seem to be as heavily represented as, say, Germany, Italy, or even China were. While those groups formed their own urban mini-communities and projected their culture and traditions into the American melting pot, the same wasn't true for French influences. So while today many Americans tend to feel direct or indirect kinship with some foreign countries, France is still seen as kind of an other to some degree, though obviously this is not as true of the heavily French-influenced Canada to our north. Also, please keep in mind that a lot of Americans' exposure to European culture comes from British news and entertainment sources on account of the shared language, and it seems like France and Britain still don't get along all that well, at least to us, so maybe that's some of it. Why do you think there is an increased popularity of the idiot husband/father stereotype in today's media? Mainly because everyone is still copying Al Bundy and Homer Simpson, but initially it was a reaction to decades of the opposite being true. For the longest time, media was tilted to reinforce the notion of nuclear families dominated by an all-knowing male authority figure as part of Western culture's persistent patriarchy. I mean, there was actually a show called Father Knows Best. When the omnipresence of that view started to crack and crumble, we started making up for lost time by going in the other direction. Did you enjoy high school or find it to be a miserable experience like I currently do? High school is hell, and most people who try to say otherwise were probably the reason it was hell. But the important thing for anyone else in similar circumstance to remember is this: high school ends. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know it feels like the day-to-day social politics of school are incredibly important, but they're not. The moment it's over, everything but the academics, and even most of those, truth be told, cease to mean anything. And if you can keep that in mind and just get through the gauntlet relatively unscathed, you will almost certainly find better days ahead of you. I did. I'm Bob. Thanks for writing in, everyone.